That is correct, Steve.
Oh, I'm excited for this. I got to taste these on Saturday, and they were incredible.
It was Friday.
What? Friday. Whatever day it
now
was.
you're telling people I was
there
out
was
there
a lot of
Saturday
wine in there.
We did. You know, this is actually, this is something new I did at Meredith's little shindig. And when I say, I mean that with the utmost respect, shindig. We'll talk about all that later.
And they're actually pretty easy to make.
Yes,
so
they
even
are.
I could do
They
it.
are easy to make, and they're really inexpensive as well, actually. We're going to use a piece of sirloin, and what I've done is you're going to cut it real thin. And what I did was just took, basically, this is the sirloin that would be setting like this, and I just take the little strips off it, okay?
Oh,
That's like bacon thin.
Kind of, yeah. And now you don't do anything, you asked me about if you, like, pounded it out.
Yeah.
You don't have to. If you'll just use a sharp knife, you can cut it down. But you want it thin, okay?
Okay.
Then I took some mushrooms. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can put the mushrooms into the paste. Now, this paste is a tablespoon of garlic. I did a tablespoon of garlic, 3 tablespoons of whatever cheese you use.
Okay.
You use blue cheese crumbles. You can use Asiago, Gorgonzola. You can use any kind of cheese you want. And then I put about 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley. And the parsley is really important because it kind of gives an herby feeling to it. You could also put fresh thyme in there, about anything you want, a basil. And then you want to make this into a paste. Now, you could run this through a food processor. But what I do is just put it onto like a plate and just mash it with a fork.
Okay.
And you want to get it to the paste thing. And what you can do, now I'm going to do these one of 2 ways. We're going to do some pinwheels too. This is kind of the pinwheel way. You just take it and you just spread the paste onto this, okay? And then you're just going to, and this has cremini mushrooms in it as well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So then you're just going to roll it, just like you would anything else you're pinwheeling, and see, you'll have that nice little pinwheel feel there, okay? Then also you can take, these are mushrooms that I've actually stuffed with the cheese, okay? And you can take those and just set them in here. And what I do is, rather than set it upright like this, turn it over and then fold it and fold it. And this is your seam right here where it's folded together. If you'll just stick that into your oil, it'll cook that shut.
Okay.
Oh,
Because one of the things I don't like about appetizers is when there's a lot of toothpicks all floating around.
Yeah.
Because in party situations, they're dangerous.
People,
Am I right?
they can get clipped off and
or
remain
even
in.
just you don't remember.
Exactly.
Right,
Bite into it.
So we're going to put a little bit of kosher salt and black pepper on here. And this is I'll tell you, this is a good appetizer if you're looking for something neat and new, because everybody for appetizer, I think, has a tendency to wrap everything in bacon, which is fine. And that's good.
Yes.
But pinwheeling something like this, you're getting, this is like eating a miniature pinwheeled piece of beef. And it kind of gives you kind of a heavier nerve. This would be something you could make and then not really make a meal. You know, make several different little
So that's really a hearty appetizer.
Yeah, we actually did these, and I also did some baby broccoli at her little shindig. And, you know, I felt like we had a pretty good meal of just stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And
Jalapeno chocolate covered
Did that alone fill you up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when we come back, we're going to make a little bit of a burgundy sauce for this. You can make like a bourbon sauce as well, but we're going to just do a simple wine sauce. It's a little bit easier for folks to make. But these come out really good. I really like these. I think they're a good idea, and I think they fit a niche of appetizers that a lot of people don't have, because you're looking for something that maybe you don't have to make the whole meal, and people can just kind of mingle and eat.
How long is that going to take?
This won't take long, maybe 3-4 minutes on each
that's
side.
it?
Yeah, the one thing you always want to remember, too, is when you're working with beef, it's kind of how you want it. If you want it medium rare.
Okay.
With these, I suggest going like medium well. You want to kind of get, you know, most of the red out of them. You don't want, it's one of those things where you don't want an appetizer plate with a bunch of, you know, red blood or juice on the plate. So.
All right, Fred, thank you so much.
You bet. We'll be back in a minute.
We'll have a sauce in just a little bit and some sports for you next.
Yes.
Oh, Steve, thank you so much. Well, we're all getting ready for those holiday parties. You know, you got to bring an appetizer. Something a little different is what you whipped up for us this morning.
Yes, and we're going to make the sauce for these sirloin wrapped mushrooms, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. This is just burgundy wine. You're just going to pour it in. What you're trying to do is deglaze the pan.
Okay.
And we've talked about this before. You're just trying to get all the stuff that's kind of cooked in the bottom of the pan up to the top and into the sauce. Now,
And you always pour around.
right? Yeah. And then we're
Okay.
going to add some Worcestershire sauce to this. And this would be kind of take the place of if you were going to use like beef stock in there. Now, one thing we're not going to do to this is we're not going to thicken it at all. We're just going to let it reduce down.
Okay.
And what will happen is this won't make a big, thick, heavy sauce. You could do that with this, But what we want is just something we can drizzle over the top of these that we've already done. We'll add just a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, I do want to point out, I didn't use a lot of thyme in any of it. In fact, I used no thyme. You could use thyme in this, and it would work out very nicely. Thyme always goes really well with beef. So kind of remember that when you're doing this, because the flavor that I was after was more cheese-oriented, so we used the parsley, which goes well with the cheese. But you could use thyme or even basil or something like that in here, okay? So now what we've done is kind of brought this to a boil, and the wine's going to cook itself down, going to cook all the alcohol out of it, and all you're going to really have is just like a nice drizzle we'll put across the top. But you can see how these come out, and the good thing about these is that you can see this one right here especially. It sealed itself shut, and that was kind of the thing we're trying to do is when you put it down on that seam, it seals it, and then you don't have to have, like I said, the toothpicks and stuff. Not that toothpicks are bad, but I just think they look a lot better.
Seam face down.
Would you put a little bit of egg on it to kind of
No, it'll sear it when it goes down. It'll sear it onto the sear it shut. You could do egg with, like, if it was like had a pastry or something or flour.
Okay.
So let's not use egg on the beef.
Okay,
anyways,
sorry.
no, I'm just saying. No, but I tell you, this is.
I don't know anything about
I know,
cooking.
but I like the effort. The effort was.
Thank
her
you.
and her foodie friend on Friday night were trying to like ask questions and yeah.
And mine was just because I had no idea.
Yeah, but you did really well.
Thank you.
Now I wanted to point out too that this is, like I say, kind of a heavy appetizer. Or I think it's kind of cool to have something that's a little bit heavier than just your average, shrimp cocktail, something like that. So it's kind of unique. It's different. The key is to get yourself a nice piece of sirloin, cut it thin. That's the key. And if you'll do that, you'll come out with a really, really, really nice piece of appetizer.
And just to recap, what is in the center of those
The
mushrooms?
center we did both some cremini mushrooms, which is a baby portobello, and some medium mushrooms. And what we basically did was we just filled them with this nice little paste, which one I used Asiago cheese, and the other one I used blue cheese. Now, the reason the blue cheese I like is because blue cheese and beef go really well together.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit tart. And so you may want, if you don't like it real tart, Asiago or Gorgonzola or a smoother cheese would be a better situation with that. And as we get this sauce on its way down, it's the time for the show where I make my shameless plug to remember to like Good Life, Good Food with Chef Bud, where we went over 500 likes last week, and we only lack 550 by about 6 likes. So go there today and like it.
You're over the top there.
Oh, we went over 550?
No, just right then.
Yeah,
you're gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, and
That's enough.
Hey, and I appreciate everybody, because I'll tell you, we try to put a lot of stuff that is good life and good food on there, and you guys have been incredible signing up for it, and I love you all, and I hope I keep giving back as much as you've given me. So.
Aww,
And Meredith, that wine is too hot to drink right now.
I know.
Yes.
And all
we
the
just pour a
alcohol's
little
cooked
over
out
the
of
top
it. So.
here, and you can see how it just kind of drizzles on there.
It smells really nice.
It's very nice. It's very, as crazy as this sounds, this is a kind of a sophisticated dish with a really nice feel. And I honestly believe this. I think it's something, if you put it together for your friends, I think it has a nice. You can pull yourself off as a culinary genius.
There you go.
Because that's something they wouldn't do themselves.
Exactly. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
I sure do
man.
appreciate
Next week,
it.
lamb.
Lamb?
Lamb chops next week. Rolling right into some Christmas brunch ideas.
I won't call in sick then.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stick around. We've got a lot more coming up on Daybreak next.